Hello everyone. Before skipping the video, I would like to say you that don't skip the video, because this is one of the most important things that I'm just really going to discuss. As yesterday we have, discussed the chapter 1 relating industrial relation and labor laws. And today I just really came up with the second chapter, which is chapter number 2, approach to industrial relation. So let's start without further wasting any more time, because before starting, I just really like to say another thing is that, it's really been tough to make, slides like this in mobile phone, because right now I really don't have any, laptops that I can utilize it to make, slides. But yeah, for you guys and for my own purpose, because the examination is coming very sooner, for that, we must continue our study. We can't skip the days, because every single moment is very important in our life to achieve the goal. So please do subscribe, do like, do share with your friends, and please motivate me to create more videos like this. So guys, today we're going to discuss the second chapter, approach to industrial relation. Alright, I just really make these slides very short and sweet, but within those points that I'm just really going to discuss with you guys, every topic we're going to cover, and at the end we're going to take one MCQ for sure. Alright guys, so stay with me, let's start it. So first of all, the first point is unitary approach. The views to the organization as an, it is written, the views to the organization as an integrated and harmonious system. Alright, so what is saying that views to the organization as an integrated and harmonious system, employer and employees share common objective. Conflict is seen as unnecessary or the result of poor communication. Sorry. So it is saying that unitary approach means, what is the meaning of unitary? Unitary means in a group, alright, in a group or in a bunch. So unit, when everything gets united, it's really creating big state, and from that, people start to really match up with each other and we get the success. This is the thing that I really believe in, because unity is something that can defeat anything in this world. All right. So it's very important that you should be getting united in every aspect, whether it might be in your family matters, your school matters, your college, your studies and everything, if you're really going to study. So what the thing that we are doing right now, it's a biggest example that I just really want to give you right now is that we are in unity. We're studying together to make our own self helpful to achieve our goal. Isn't it right? We don't know what might just really going to happen, but we need to give our best. Isn't it? So that's it's called a unitary approach. So it's saying that views the organization as an integrated and harmonious system. So what it does, it views the organization as an integrated and harmonious system. Employer and employees share common objective. The second point says employer and employees share the common objectives. It is very important that employee also need to share the common objective with the employees. What is the reason? That if your goal is to become an IAS officer, surely you might have been inspired by someone else, isn't it right? If your parents are doctors, then this similar goal get inherited by the family members for decades, isn't it right? If your father is a doctor, if your mother is a doctor, then you also, get the idea to become a doctor as well. So it shows that we have a common objective in our life. So now we are studying for a common objective. I am studying because, and you guys also been studying with me, for a common object is that we need to clear UPSC EPFO AO examination, isn't it right? So that's what it's saying. Conflict is seen as an unnecessary or the result of poor communication. In this point, it is saying that conflict is seen as an unnecessary, alright, or the result of poor communication. Conflict is one of the most worst things to destroy any kind of unity, any kind of industry, any kind of thing in this world. So we should not be conflict. So next slide says pluralistic approach. Now, what is pluralistic approach? It is saying that recognize the organization as a made up of competing interest group. Number 2 point, it says that trade union have a legitimate role in representing employees. Conflict is inevitable but manageable through collective bargaining. Alright guys. So pluralistic approach means recognize the organization as a made up of competing interest group. We need to understand, or we need to recognize the organization. For what purpose? For competing interest groups. Means every groups in the organization has to have a pluralistic approach. Means there should not be any kind of, industrial goal should not be get changed by individuals or might be by groups. It should be in unitary form. It should be in one way. It should be in one path that everyone should follow that path, and it should be equal to everyone. Hope you really understand. Now it says trade unions have a legitimate role in representing employees. Trade union has a legitimate role in representing employees. It has. The trade union has the potential to make change in the industry, in the laws, to force government to make laws according to their own desire and accommodation, because laborers have been working regularly in the industry. Who am I just really going to listen to them? If an individual comes out or pops out from that group and started to just fight for his own rights and for other, people might just really not going to listen to it. But if he creates a group among himself with a similar kind of problem and goes to the public domain, or maybe goes to any kind of government sector, or started to talk in the media, then people will listen because they are in union. All right, so it is the most important thing. Conflict is inevitable but manageable through collective bargaining. In previous class, we have talked about the collective bargaining means understandability between the groups together at once. All right, so I think this point you guys understand very well, because conflict can be reduced or maybe nullified by doing collective bargaining. If you have collective bargaining, then there will be no conflict. It's simple. If someone has some kind of problem, for example, if someone is saying that means I need that, but the company is not listening to it, then we should just come to a collective bargaining, that employee and employers both sit together and discuss in one topic and need to understand each other, and at that time they should come to a collective bargaining method and come to an conclusion that what to do and what not to do. On the basis of that, that both the sides should get happier. All right. So the third number slide talk about Marxist approach. This is one of the most common approach in sociology as well as in political. In every aspect of your life, you might have talked about Marxist approach. Okay, it is a little bit harshy approach. All right, that I really used to call it. Industrial relations are rooted in the capitalistic economic system. It talk about industrial relations are rooted in a capitalistic economic system. Now, what is a capitalistic economic system? We can get a very beautiful example that we are having it is that China. We can just talk about China, because China is totally, or might be not, but what we know and what we study and what we understand by seeing the news, daily news, we know that China is a capitalistic economic system. It does do really follow it, because it doesn't have any kind of broader way of doing business. So industrial relations are rooted. It is saying that every industrial relation are been rooted in a capitalistic economic system, like North Korea is a capitalistic economic system. There is no one who can just talk about it. If there is a change in price, then no one can have the right to do strikes and talk about it. There doesn't have any kind of right to expression. I would like to say that. Secondly, it said conflict is structural and stems from class struggles. Conflict is structural. It's true. Conflict is structural because every conflict that occurs in a place, it is structural because it is related to some kind of topic. For example, conflict can occur at any time, any moment. For example, two brothers are been sitting inside a room and they're playing a game, and suddenly one says that I need that remote, that controller in my hand, and you should take this one. If the brother says no, I would not gonna give you that because this is mine. Because they are not doing any kind of negotiation between each other, and that's creating conflict. That create conflict between both of them without any cause and without any reason. It's a simple thing, isn't it, right? But it creates conflict. So it's structural. We all know about it. Conflict can be created any moment, any time. If you talk wrongly with someone without any intention, even though that might just really going to lead to a big conflict. And stems from class struggles. Exactly, class struggles is one of the things. In most of the places there are the classes. Means there's a rich class, middle class, lower class. Everyone has their own struggles, so we know them very well. So it's a simple thing. Trade unions are instrument for revolutionary change. Exactly. Now trade unions are instruments for revolutionary change. Why it is saying that? Exactly. Because in the first one we say, we know that we heard it and we read it, is that industrial relations are rooted in the capitalistic economic system. So we need to change that approach to revolutionary change. All right, guys, hope you really understand. Now let's come to the point number 4, human relation approach. All right, so human relation approach is totally been related with a human approach. It's like human resource. All right, focus on the social needs of workers. Exactly. It need to focus on the social needs of the workers. Why it is? Because without the needs of the workers, industry could not run. For example, in a kitchen, your mom has been working, or maybe anyone, a maid might be working in your kitchen. And if you're not going to give her the salary, means I'm talking about the maid who has been working inside your kitchen, and if you're not going to fulfill her desire means if you don't going to pay her well, then she might really going to leave the cooking work and just go somewhere else, isn't it, right? So your mom will be in trouble. So we don't want that. So yeah, and at the same time, if she has some kind of medical problem, who's going to solve it? You need to solve it, isn't it, right? So in similar way, focus on the social needs of the workers. We need to understand the needs of the workers because they have been doing daily works. They need to be facilitated exactly like others because they are also being human being at the end, isn't it, right? So good communication, motivation, and leadership reduce conflict. Exactly, that's true. I think it's a simple thing that if you have a good communication skill, if you have the capacity of motivating every individual, and leadership reduce the conflict. And these things really reduce the conflict. Emphasize on worker satisfaction and morally. Exactly, emphasize on worker satisfaction and morale. it's work on the satisfaction of the worker. If you're really gonna provide him the necessary thing, the social necessary needs, then the worker will be happy and satisfied. And morally, he will also gonna be satisfied with the thing that he's been doing it for you, isn't it right? So both are being profitable at the same time. So why should not you just provide all the necessary thing to the worker as you are also been providing, isn't it right? Because everyone is working under each other, no matter what happens, from the top level to down. All right. So hope you really understand that. So let's come to the 5-number slide, which is I think the today's last topic. All right, and after that we're going to just solve one question, MCQ. So system approach. Now, after all those things, what is the most important thing is that system approach. Remember this name, developed by John T. Dunlop. All right, so who developed this system approach? Developed by John T. Dunlop. Dunlop. All right, so I call it Dunlop. View industrial relation as a subsystem of society. He see industrial relation as a subsystem of society, means, and consider interaction between management, labor, and government within a given environment. All right, so views industrial relation as a subsystem of society, consider interaction between management, labor, and government within a given environment. All right, so hope you really understand. He says that industrial relation looks like subsystem of society. Subsystem is a different kind of, societies living in one place. You see the variation of the work or variation of the work has been doing for a similar kind of goal, no matter who is coming from which ground, what they think, doesn't matter, because they are being, concentrated in one direction for one goal to achieve it. So that's what the, John T. Dunlop is saying. And consider interaction between management, labor, and government within a given environment. So why it has been subsystem? Because it involves management, labor, and government within a given environment. So that's why, because without management, a labor could not survive. A labor cannot survive without the management. All right, and without the help of the government, both the management and as well as labor cannot survive, because the government need to make rules according to their desire, isn't it right? So you hope you really understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, guys. So these are the points that we have discussed today, and within those 5 points, we had summarized chapter 2 of industrial relation and labor laws. And nextly, the thing is that let's take the MCQ question. All right. So this one, practice question. What it says, that which approach views conflict as unnecessary? We have studied this. Which approach views conflict as unnecessary? Which approach? Which approach? See, if there's a conflict, it means there are some kind of problem between the groups, isn't it right? It means there is a problem of unity in the group. The more ununited people get more conflict. When the people get united together in one place, one platter, there will be no conflict. So that's the thing. So the answer will be unitary approach. Which approach views conflict as an unnecessary thing? Which approach? It asks that which approach views conflict as an unnecessary thing. Obviously, the unitary approach. All right, pluralistic, we already studied. There is nothing like this has been talked out there. Unitary, yes, exactly. So the answer will be, obviously, unitary approach. Which one? Number B, unitary approach. All right, guys. Hope you really understand the whole slide and you are able to just take the practice question. Hope you really like my video. If you really like the video, then please do subscribe, do share with your friends, and give thumbs up and do comment. All right, guys. So let's wrap up this video, and we're gonna meet you with another video with chapter 3, industrial relation and labor laws. All right, guys. Till then, bye bye. Have a nice day. See ya.